Alright, Smackdown. Let's make this very clear. Smackdown was alright. Again, an okay show. I'm sure there's going to be people say this was a great show. It was fun. It was energetic. We got a women's world championship match at the end. Yes. But did it progress anything? No. This isn't just about a slow burn, guys. This is about, do they actually book correctly and it makes sense? Honestly, not much. Not much making sense here. It's not bad booking, but it doesn't really make a lot of sense. Now you're going to say, dude, wait and watch and see. Of course you can say wait and watch and see. But that counts on if everything beforehand makes sense. Look, I'm going to say this before we get started. Two things, actually. Two. The first one, I think I'll talk about this right now. Bob Uecker. I do remember him. He just passed away at 90. Now, if you've ever seen Bob Uecker, he has involved himself in pro wrestling. If you don't remember that one moment when he was being strangled by Andre the Giant with his little hands, well, the big hands of Andre the Giant around his neck, he went like that. That's one of the most memorable things you get from Bob Uecker. But he also did commentary. He also did a little bit of this, a little bit of that in WWE before he stopped. I would tell you this. It's sad to see that he passed. But I do remember that he did do some contribution to pro wrestling. Now, did he do contributions outside of pro wrestling? Yes, which in some cases, some people say he did great. Some people says he got himself in trouble. But in the end, you can't say that he didn't do something in wrestling that was memorable. Rest in peace. I had to say that. Now, let's get to the second thing. And I want to make this clear. I am not against TKO WWE. I have no problems with them. But I've said this before and I'll say it again. We are dealing with one thing here. Ari Emanuel. No different than Vince. Well, actually, it should be said, he was more than Vince because he's a real businessman where Vince has been a promoter who tried to become a businessman. There's a difference. When someone who tried to become a businessman succeeded across a good amount of stuff, you could say he's a businessman now. But many things he did not succeed. And some did, yes. But in the end, he still acted like a wrestling promoter more than he acted like a businessman. Businessman does his stuff in the shadows. A businessman is very quiet about it until someone brings it up. And when it came to Vince, he still acted like a pro wrestling promoter. And when you look at Ari, he is a businessman. As long as the storylines stay the same way they are, or at least keep people interested, he doesn't care about us. So please remember, as much as TKO WWE is doing quite well, remember, as long as the money keeps flowing, he doesn't care whatever you get. But when the money doesn't flow right, that is when the problem starts. And I hope it doesn't really. I'm honest. I don't want to see anything go wrong. I'd rather continue seeing wrestling become good. Okay. Let's make this very clear. What did we get in the opening show with Ray coming out? I'm going to give you like this. Seeing he's going in the Royal Rumble again is fine. It's almost been 20 years since he's done, 19 years actually, since he's been in the Royal Rumble and won it and then won his title in that same year. And he's trying to play off of that, which is fine. There's no problem with that. I didn't have a problem. KO coming out with the Eagle title. I didn't have a problem with it either. Showing respect to Ray. I didn't have a problem either. Seeing that he wants Ray to be the one to challenge him when he wins the Royal Rumble. Didn't have a problem with it either. Ray saying that you're not the champ, but if you do win your match against Cody, if you win and I win, I will be more than honored to challenge you. That is when you go, okay, Ray's not going to succeed very well, or at all. And that makes me think about KO as well. Because of that situation and the fight afterward, we get a match between KO and Ray. I'm not going to go in order. I'm going out of order. I will tell you this. The match was good. It was not a bad match. It was a good match. And if you guys think Ray has lost a step, guys still can go very, very well in the ring. Now, does he botch from time to time? Of course he does. Every wrestler does. But you can tell that Ray is still in great shape and he's not an issue. So, when the match was over and it looked like he won clean, and that is Kevin Owens who bumped the ref and then ended Ray, he was about to give him a package power. I think the reason I botched here was it was obvious because of what happened in the early part of the show when Nick Aldis went to Kevin and went to Cody, said, I want you to sign these contracts. There's an addendum to it. Sign it. Neither one wanted to sign unless the other signed first. And then once you see this package power driver almost being used on Ray, Cody comes out to fight. They break each other, well, they get broken up after the long fight. What do we get? Next week, I believe. No, or was it next week or at Saturday Night Main Event? I can't remember. But either Saturday Night Main Event or the next SmackDown, they both got to come to the ring. They're going to relinquish their titles. They're going to be put above, well, taken. And then they're both going to sign the addendum contract. Now, is that a good thing? Yeah, because there is some type of stipulation in this match. There had to be. There had to be some type of stipulation. Does this mean it's going to be a ladder match? I don't know. Maybe it might be. But both titles are going to be taken. And if I'm right, because of Royal Rumble, they may make a new title that combines bits of the current title and a lot of the prestige and bits of the old title. That is what I think they're going to do. Once Shawn Michaels, and he's already been made very clear by a Nick Aldis, the boy who's always from this part of Texas, Shawn Michaels will present on this and deal with this. I would have rather had Stone Cold Steve Austin. I know it's not Houston, Texas, or Austin, but I would have liked Stone Cold to do it than Shawn Michaels, who literally doesn't look very... I'm not against Shawn, but you know, his eyes are crossed now. He's walking very bow-legged. He's not in great shape anymore. And he doesn't get in front of the screen much. And I'm not even taking anything from Shawn. That just happens. But I can tell you this. I would have rather seen a Stone Cold Steve Austin be brought in if he was available and let him preside over it. He doesn't need to do anything other than just preside on it. And I would have been fine with it. But that's just me, guys, down below. Next, the first match. Nia Jax and a Candice LeRae versus Naomi and Bianca. I'm like, really? You play into the last time they were all in the ring together, Bianca accidentally hitting Naomi in the stomach with her hair. That hair whip that can go almost the speed of sound hits Naomi. And Naomi says, girl, I'm ready for this. We're going to take care of them, but could you wrap that hair up, please? And I'm thinking, okay, they got to be doing something with this story where possibly either Bianca's turning heel, because I know when it comes to Bianca turning heel, just Alex has thought about it. JD thought about it. I thought Naomi, because they're literally doing nothing with her. And if they turn her heel, at least it will be something. But I can understand why people think it's better with Bianca. But then, what is Naomi doing? Why did she come back to TKO WWE? Just to be with her husband, to be treated like shit? And just be an afterthought in many feuds? She is very over with the fans, but what is she doing? She's not relevant. This is the key. I want to make this clear. Naomi is loved by the fans, but she's not champion, and they're not booking her to be relevant. So what does she gain here? I'm being honest here. I'm just being honest here, guys. I am being honest. If Bianca is the one who turned heel, fine. But then what happens to Naomi? Is she going to be working with Jade when she comes back? And then she'll be a part of another storyline that really doesn't have anything to do with her. She's just an afterthought, an extra. And I feel like that's just a waste. But there's just me, you guys can tell me below. Next. And it was Naomi who won, who got the pin on Candice LeRae, I believe. Was it Naomi? Yes, it was Naomi who did get the pin on Candice LeRae. But what does that mean? Nothing. Next. Mello versus Jimmy Uso. Big John. Do I actually care about Big John? No, but it doesn't mean that he isn't liked by the fans. Let's make it clear. When he came out to the ring, talking about, hey, my brother, my baby brother, I'm proud of him. When it comes to prime time, he's doing great. But now it's time for Big John to get his shot, and Big John to get a shot at the title. He ain't getting no shot at no title. I'm going to make this very clear. When you look at Jey Uso compared to Jimmy Uso, I'm going to be honest here. I like Jimmy. He's not a bad character. He's more of a joke, a playful character that can go when he needs to go. But if you're going to say who's the better between the two, it's Jey. Jey just has something about him that's more flamboyant, more charismatic. He just is. The one that's funnier is Jimmy. That's obvious. But when you see Jimmy compared to Jey, Jimmy is going to be more for fun. Even though he will be in some important and some strong feuds, I think, if they're going to do anything with him. If not, he will be more comic relief. And there's nothing wrong with that. As long as he's relevant, even if he's a joke type of pro wrestler, that doesn't mean you can't get over. There's a lot of wrestlers who used to do a lot of jokes and have fun that got over big time. Look at Tyler Breeze and Fandango. Breezango, they had relevancy because there was so much fun. It wasn't that they won every match. It was about them getting over with the fans and getting relevancy. If they do the things right with Jimmy, he can joke around, but also he can be serious when he wants to. He will have his own type of direction, at least until maybe Solo and him team up and they go off and become a tag team, because I think that might be where they're going to go eventually. Solo and Jimmy will be a tag team. There is no doubt. I just do not see Jimmy and Jey being a tag team like they used to. I know people say they need to be tag team again. They need to be Usos. No. Jey needs to be off on his own because he is that over. He's gotten so over now. Putting them back with Jimmy and just sticking them back in the box as a tag team specialist is wrong. Just let Jimmy and Solo do the business. That makes the best sense. And when you see this match, it gets DQ'd or thrown out due to the fact of Tama Tonga and Jacob Fatu. Now, Jacob speaks, and that's after Solo shows up, who does not speak. He comes out dressed the way he normally was working before, like he was Tribal Chief, but he doesn't say a word, drops the mic, takes off the coat, puts it on his shoulder, and walks away. But Jacob begins to talk, saying, you guys thought I was just a nut. You guys thought I was insane. You guys thought that I am just mad. But I can tell you, I am. I'm going to do whatever I want because it's now my time. That's generally what he said. And I can tell you it was done well. And, just remembered. Unrelated. This is totally unrelated to pro wrestling. But I have to say it now because something happened today yesterday, actually, that was surprising. Was it yesterday or today? I'm kind of fried. Actually, it's today. Because yesterday, I was very angry. Because, again, I went back to the post office. I know this is unrelated, but I think you should know this because I'm going to forget. The last couple of days, I've been frustrated. That's the reason why I didn't do my NXT review. And the main reason was that I made some orders for stuff from eBay. Some packages. And one of those packages supposedly was delivered to my apartment, but I never received it. As far as I was thought, it might have been stolen. So I was very angry. I went to the post office and talked to them and said, where's my package? I have not received it. They said, it's in your box. I said, that's not in my box. Well, if you don't have it, file a claim. I said, are you sure that I did not receive it? I said, sir, look on the website. We marked it as delivered. That was over 2 days. That's one of the reasons why I did not do my NXT review. Today, I just received my package from the postman early in the morning. Actually, the reason I say this now is because one person who asked me the night before said, hey, you lost your package. Why don't you try to get a refund? Well, the thing is, if this hadn't happened, it's not going to be a refund. It's going to be a claim that they supposedly did not leave it with me, and now I have to claim to the U.S. Postal Service that I did not get my package, even though they said it was delivered. But now, after what, 2-3 days, dude, seriously, I'm glad to get my package. I did. It was just vitamins. But the thing is that I'm told it was delivered and it wasn't. And now I went to the post office twice. And not only was I told on the website it was already delivered, I was told again at the office it was delivered, but then one of your own postmen just delivered it to me. I'm only saying this because I guess I don't want to forget, because I'm thinking about wrestling, and I just remember, you know who you are, you leave me a sonnet. I thought I should say this because I'm going to forget, but also never underestimate anything happening. And this kind of goes into what's going on with Jacob, and what's going on with Jimmy, and what's going to go on possibly with Solo, because look what happened. Solo walks away. Jacob talks. LA comes out, beats the ass, but then gets his ass beat until Braun Strowman shows up. And now you got Jacob and Braun Strowman like this. And everyone's excited out of their damn mind to see Braun Strowman go up against Jacob for 2. And I'm interested myself to see how they're going to book this. That will they put Jacob over really well with a Braun Strowman, Titan. So I don't know. This is going to be interesting. And the only reason I'm saying what I said earlier was next to not wanting to forget. You never know what's going to happen in this type of situation with the booking of TKO WWE. You may get exactly what you want, or you may get a swerve. Not saying it's going to be a good one, but it is what it is. All right. Nibbins versus the amazing, the spectacular, the incredible B-Fab. I knew that Michin was not going to be out of the picture. But I also knew when it comes to all these women in the back, they need to do something with them. They got so many women just sitting and catering, doing nothing. They must do something with them. So they decided to pull out B-Fab, dust her ass off, who normally does not wrestle. She is pretty much a concierge. She is a manager. I don't remember the last time I've seen B-Fab wrestle, and to be honest, after seeing what she did, she still didn't look very good. Now, I'm not telling you she was trash. She did look a bit better than the last time I saw her, which was maybe 2 years ago. Maybe 2 years ago, the last time I might have seen her wrestle, because I know you guys may have seen it, but many times I don't watch Raw, and other times, sometimes I skip SmackDown, because I was doing, at the time, was Rampage, which is now gone. So, this is what we got with B-Fab. She sort of looked okay, but not great. Piper had to adjust a lot to make it look good. But in the end, of course, Piper won. The beatdown happened and Michin comes out with a kendo stick attacking. I knew this was going to be about Michin. This is not going to end with them. And this is what hurts me. Look, like Naomi, Michin, Mia Yun, has not really done much. Yes, she came back with the new administration, with the new TKO administration. When it comes to it, is she being treated a little bit better? Yes, she is getting TV time, but what does that mean? Is she being getting TV time that's good for her? Or is it TV time to put over other people? That's what it looks like. She's putting over more people than they are making her relevant or feel important. Is she still liked by the fans? Yes, just like Naomi. But does that mean she's relevant? No. Like Naomi, she doesn't feel relevant, but this is just me, guys, down below. Los Gaza, I believe that's it, versus Motor City Machine Guns with a weird ending. Great match, was not bad, but then Pretty Deadly comes out to try and mess up. I'm like, they're trying to mess up the Motor City Machine Guns, but they try to help Los Gazos, who hates them anyway, because they think they're nothing but a joke. And then the Machine Guns win, but then it's like when they go into the back, you could say it's actually development for Pretty Deadly because they're told by Ciampa, you guys are a joke. You guys are stupid. You're nothing. You're never going to get anything from me or my partner. You're nothing. But as you know, Johnny's trying to keep them occupied to try and not go after their titles. But then what do you think? Are they really going to turn Pretty Deadly into something more interesting? I don't think so. Are they going to be a little more aggressive? Maybe. But are they going to still act the same way? I do believe so. I just don't know if they're going to actually change their characters now. Like New Day. Look at New Day. New Day has switched from being good to bad. And it was long overdue with New Day. They had to do something new with them. And seeing them change is pretty good. The one who's doing the best is pretty much Xavier Woods. Not Kobe. Kobe's still kind of Kobe. He's not one of the greatest heels. Maybe he needs more time to develop. I can see Xavier doing good as a heel compared to Kobe. He just feels more substantial. But when you look at Pretty Deadly, I just don't know if they'll be able to develop them correctly. Next. Let me give it to you like this. The final match. If I'm forgetting anything, I would not be surprised. But there are two more. I know I'm not forgetting anything. I'm thinking about KO and Ray. And this wasn't about Ray. This was more about the fight. And you already know what happened. I'm just like, I know I spoke about this earlier, but I have to bring this back. That, what are you going to do with Rey Mysterio now? Yes, this is going to be about Cody. It's going to be about the winged title that may be combined with the current title and make a new title. Instead of going back to the old one, which actually a lot of people would find that very interesting. They would actually be very interested in seeing that the old title has been brought back and they retired the new one, the current one. But I still believe they're going to combine the two titles into a new one, which I will not be fond of. Even if it looks cool, people would rather see the classic. And then I'm thinking about Ray. What are they going to do with Ray? Are they going to put him against Dominic? Because sooner or later they're going to do something with Dom. I don't know. Final match. Tiffy versus Bayley for the title in Bayley's hometown. What do I feel about the vid pack they show with Brian Saxon and Bayley in San Diego? It was good. It wasn't a perfect one, but it was good. I did like it. But when you look at this situation, do you actually believe they're going to let Bayley job here? Well, not job. I would rather seen Bayley in Royal Rumble and not in this situation. You could have put someone else there. Since she's already not getting anywhere, you could have put Naomi in that spot, and we know Naomi wouldn't win. I'm just being honest here. This is not that I want to see Naomi being treated this way, but you know that they faced each other multiple times before, and this would have been better than letting Bayley go through this. And I'm sure people would say, dude, this will be great because she lost, which she did, but then this will give her even more incentive in the Royal Rumble. It would, but then it's like, did she really need it? Or did Tiffy need this? Now you're going to say, yes, Tiffy needed it. This is what Tiffany needed. And I'm going like, then you could have used someone else other than Bayley. You could have used Naomi. Hell, you could have used a Bianca Belair in that situation too. Like in the beginning of the show, you didn't need to have that tag match. It didn't really mean anything. You could have either used a Tiffany versus a Naomi or Tiffany versus a Bianca Belair, and you would still be fine. And if they were going to turn Bianca heel or Naomi heel, seeing them lose here could help build them up into the eventual transition to heel. And that's what I feel like was needed. But you know what I mean. It just feels like they did not need Bayley here. Now, was it a bad match? No, it was fine. And Tiffy with her top. I don't know who made that top for her, but it looked weird. But she wasn't bad. But in the end, Tiffy won. And I'm not surprised. So what did we exactly got here in this show? It was an okay show that's mostly building into Royal Rumble. A little bit is being built into Saturday Night Main Event on the 25th. So we got a little bit for the 25th and more building into Royal Rumble. But I just don't know what's going to be the best thing. How far are they going to go? I think that might be the title. How far are we getting? Or how far are they going? Here you go. Peace.